You know what time it is. It's time to spin the wheel. In a little segment I like to call
Let's Get Wheel.
No, I'm just joking. It's a joke. It's supposed to be a funny bit. I'm not really branding it that. But if you weren't here last time, I'm going to spin the wheel and check it out. Whatever it lands on, I have to associate that superlative with a player on the Montreal Canadiens' biggest roller coaster season. So if it landed on that, I would have to predict the individual who's going to have the biggest roller coaster season. Then I'm going to give some general predictions on how I think that player's season will go. So let's talk about it.
How's your breath?
It's not good, eh?
No, I meant in terms of conditioning.
Yeah, this was fun last time we did it. It's just a kind of a little junk food type video, a little treat, an amuse-bouche. There's not a whole lot of news recently, so yeah, I thought it would be smart to do some fun things like this. They did drop the 84 game schedule today. What I thought was interesting is Montreal has games between Christmas and New Year at home. That's going to be fun for the city. Okay, so if you didn't watch last episode, I actually recommend you go back and watch that last episode. But I think the individuals we went over were Alex Texier, Nick Suzuki, Lane Hudson, Ivan Demidov, and Jake Evans. Spin the wheel 5 times and associate that superlative to the corresponding player, and I'll try to think up something fun and also give my predictions on what their season's going to look like. So, without further ado, see if I can bring up the wheel. There we go. Let's give her a spin. What's it going to land on? Come on, give me something easy to work with here. Biggest surprise scorer. Okay, that's a good one, and it's kind of easy. Since we already have Ivan Demidov, which shouldn't be a surprise score, but I think he's going to take a huge step this season. I'm going to say pretty optimistically, that Zach Bolduc will find his scoring touch that he had at the start of last season. Last season, Zach Bolduc quietly finished with 30 points. Pretty good considering that he wasn't exactly given the best support and the most time on the ice. He finished with just a hair above 13 minutes, 12 goals, 18 assists. Hey, that's not too bad. Something that the community has asked for a lot was pairing Zach Bolduc up with Ivan Demidov. We could see that this season. I'm kind of hoping it doesn't have to get there, but it may. Obviously, if Bolduc was given some second line time, it would do a lot of good for his numbers. And an interesting stat about Zach Bolduc is that out of the 12 goals that he did score last season, 3 of those were game-winning goals, so fully like 1/4 of his goals. The other thing that I hope Zach brings into this season is that he performed really well in the playoffs last season. He achieved 7 points, 3 of those being goals. I think what I like most about him and what aids him the most, especially in like a playoff scenario, is he's got a never say die attitude. He's always out there giving it what looks like his best effort or maybe just a little bit under. And I always thought that his failures stemmed from pacing issues, not because he isn't giving it his all. He's just not finding the pace of the game that would suit him. So if he does manage to bring in the confidence that he gained during the playoffs, knowing that, you know, he was a big help in the playoffs and he had a big role. He also scored 1 game-winning goal during the playoffs as well. But yeah, that could be another piece of the puzzle for him to go into the season with a head full of confidence and hopefully find his game in his 3rd season in the NHL? 3rd full season in the NHL. Okay, I guess let's spin the wheel again. Whoa, there we go. All right, let's go. Where is it going to land this time? Give me a tough one this time. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a tough one. Most memorable moment? Is there anyone that is nearing a career milestone? Slavkovsky will reach 200 points. Dobson will reach 300 points. Most memorable moment? This is actually a pretty tough one. The one that comes to mind is I think that the Canadiens will go on a significant winning streak, but I'm supposed to be relating this to players. I'm going to have to think about this one.
A few moments later.
All right, I've got it. I didn't want to use this player on this particular category. I kind of wanted to wait for a better one. But it makes sense because of, you know, what I thought of how this could incorporate itself into the team winning and going on a winning streak. Because I think that Jakub Dobes is going to win a bunch of games for the Canadiens, and he is going to be the main component behind that. In fact, I think he'll have a couple of shutouts mixed into a winning streak this season. So that's going to be my pick, and that's going to be my prediction for Dobes this season. He's going to be a huge piece to the success of the Montreal Canadiens. If he doesn't do well this season, I think that the Canadiens could be in trouble because a lot of their opponents are improving. And so far this offseason, there's an argument to be made that the Montreal Canadiens have improved, shed some weight, I guess you could say. But so far they haven't gotten any help, although I do think they will before the end of the season. Okay, let's remove that one from the board and switch over to our wheel. Let's spin it up. What are we going to land on this time? Best leader. Well, that's unfortunate because we've already selected Nick Suzuki. But you know what? This is actually really easy. I think in Brendan Gallagher's absence, and I think because of where the assistant captaincy will go to, selecting Josh Anderson for this category is a pretty good bet. He was also a leader for setting the tone in the playoffs. And I think he does a lot of that. I think that he's an emotional leader on the team. So I like that for Anderson. Plus, this season, my prediction is that Josh Anderson will continue to improve his point totals. Again, coming off a good season, but a really good playoffs where he established himself as a power forward with grit, a player that you can depend on, but also a player that creates moments, creates those offensive moments. He's got wheels, man. He can move really fast. If his shot percentage just continued steadily improving, I think that Josh Anderson could have a breakthrough even at his age. So let's put Josh Anderson down and move on back to the wheel. All right, spin it up again. How many players have we done so far? Biggest wild card. I didn't know what that one said. It was cut off. Biggest wild card. What does that even mean? Like a player who could either be huge for the team or could be nothing? Or does it mean like a player that when the Canadiens are struggling, they become a wild card that just sets the game on its head? Actually, you know what? There is a wild card that I've thought about. And it's been mentioned by other Habs-centric creators, other Habs-centric analysts. The wild card this season will be whether or not the tandem will be Jakub Dobes and Jacob Fowler, or are the Canadiens going to try Montembeault in a backup situation? Yeah, they have Montembeault for one more year. Do you think they could trade him during the offseason? I don't know. Who's out there looking for goaltenders right now? Edmonton's got their stuff kind of squared off. Carolina probably rocking Kochetkov and Bussy, right? Does Calgary, Vancouver need a goal? I don't know. I don't know what happens with Montembeault. It's a shame because if they had traded him the season before, knowing that he would drop off so hard, they could have gotten some good return for him. Is it possible to rebuild him and then sell him? Depending on the goaltender, they can't really fetch all that much. If he had a season in a backup role and was traded near the end of the season, maybe near deadline, a panic team or a team that requires goaltending, that thinks they have a shot at going all the way, they might pay for him a little bit. But I will place Montembeault as the wild card. My belief is that he will be traded before the end of the offseason. Montreal just wants to be agile with their cap and, maybe make a trade during the season, before deadline, during deadline. And they've established that Fowler is ready for the big show. Not to mention signing Mandalese and Hunter Jones. All signs point to Dobes starting the season, Fowler being the backup. Okay, what is that? One more left? Where's my wheel? There we go. Biggest wild card. So remove all instances. Was it on there more than one time? All right, let's spin the wheel here for our last category. Future first line player. I don't like this one. I don't think it applies. At least not right now. Future first line player. Because selecting a player here implies that, Slav, Suzuki, or Caulfield are not going to be a first line player. And I'm kind of hoping that doesn't happen. Kind of talked about, the possibility of improving the first line in the future, but it depends on Slavkovsky's development. I think that he can be a play driver for that first line. Nick Suzuki, to me, seems like a longevity player. I think he could play, well into the deeper parts of his career. And I think that he can stand the test of time being a first line center. Yeah, I just don't think that this really fits our timeline. Is it okay if I veto it? I'm going to remove that one. Sorry if you think that's against the spirit of the game, but yeah, let's give this another spin. At least I showed you that I did select that one and I just chose to veto it. So biggest I told you so player. Okay, this one's way more fun. Biggest I told you so player. What's a player that I constantly talk about? And I think that I have like some sort of a galaxy brain take on him. The one that pops into mind, it's going to be hard for me to create a compelling narrative for without putting too much pressure on it and making it seem bigger than what it is. But I think Owen Beck will have a great camp and get his shot in the NHL this season, starting with the team. It's his time. If not now, then when? Management has said that they don't want to block anyone, and that kind of coincides with how their mantra with trading right now. They're not looking just for slight upgrades. They're looking for big swings. So instead of going out there and trading a paper clip for a pen, they would rather, instead of give Joe Veleno an opportunity, they would rather give Owen Beck an opportunity. And I think that that's excellent. I think if Owen Beck is given the opportunity to come in and play in the center role, especially on a third or fourth line, he'll be able to excel. He's good in the face-off dot. And I think that can translate really well into the NHL, although what we've seen so far was not too great. Just has to get acclimated. You just need to get loose out there, and I think he'll be a lot better. If you watch Owen Beck in Laval, he's the type of player that goes hard all the time. But because of that, I think he might have a more difficult time in the AHL than he would in the NHL. Just because the AHL, it's less structured than the NHL. The puck can go back and forth. You can find the puck at neutral ice. It's less about executing plays and more playing by the seat of your pants. And it's my belief that Beck would do well with more structured play. Getting out there, putting in your 30-second shift, and it's just getting from the defensive zone, getting to the offensive zone, and keeping it in for the next line to come in and do their job. So I'm going to give it to Owen Beck, and yeah, that's my prediction for him, that he's going to make the team, and he's going to have a good, solid first season. I guess that's it, right? I hope you thought that was fun. A good mind experiment. Good to get your juices flowing up there. Fun to think about the new season and what could happen. And I hope I gave you something to think about. But that's going to do it for me, guys. You guys know what to do. Like the video, helps me out with probably the search results if I had to guess. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I would love to have you in this community. We're growing every day, almost 27,000 subscribers. And as always, I will see you down in the comments.